Oh, yes, indeed. We're at Ben & Jerry's warehouse in Vermont. We're here to take a tour to see how the ice cream is made, and at the end, you better believe we're going to sample some. But unfortunately, a lot of the tour we are not allowed to tape. But we took some pictures, we got some video, and like I said, at the end, we're going to eat some samples. So I hope you enjoy. I'm psyched to see this.
Now, unfortunately, folks, we have reached the end of our program. If anybody here has any final questions, myself, my fellow co-hosts here will happily sit here and chat with folks a little further. But you can also samples and also questions. You are free to end this guided portion of our tour by scrolling on out to it. As you depart, take a look on the left of our photo slide where we do all the tests on our ice cream. You can see all the tests we're doing up in there. They can do taste tests as well. If you're not careful, it can be easy to get to a ice cream today. Don't worry. And as you down on the left, you can also see our hall of flavors, showing off the top 10 best-selling Ben & Jerry's flavors here in the United States. So be sure to check out this, see any of your favorites are up there. But thank you all so much for coming on our tour today. We've come for a fun time so far. Please drive safely out there, and most importantly, have a... Or sit back as far as you can. It is Ben seating after all. Make yourselves comfortable, and of course, enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Greetings from the future. We're happy to report flying cars finally happened, and Ben & Jerry's is still making ice cream. Our loyal spokes cow is still along for the ride. She was designed by a local Vermont artist, Woody Jackson, and she's been part of the Ben & Jerry's family for decades. Who better to take you on a time-traveling trip through our history? So before we come back to the future, we're heading to the past, to show you how Ben and Jerry, two kids who met in Merrick, Long Island's 7th grade gym class, grew up to create the world's chunkiest ice cream. First up, the 70s, where those grown-up kids were trying to figure out how to make a living from their love for food. They discussed going into the bagel biz, but they couldn't afford the equipment. So they split a $5 ice cream course from Penn State instead, and got an A- on the open book exam. Not bad. They bought this old gas station and began creating their own flavors. But since poor Ben had no taste, we don't mean a sense of style, he really couldn't taste anything. They put in bigger and bigger chunks and swirls until he declared it ice cream perfection. They gave their creations fun names and began a long tradition of even more fun promotions. Stilt walkers, mimes, even free ice cream for dogs. Ben and Jerry had started an ice cream counterculture. A time not just of free love, but also of free cone days. That special day in April started as a way to thank the community for helping them stay in business for an entire year. It was so fun, we've been doing it ever since. As the 70s came to a close and hippies were becoming yuppies, we realized that it was time to get down to business, to the 80s. The 80s. When Wall Street was all about making dough, we wanted to make dough too. Cookie dough. Thanks to an anonymous customer suggestion, cookie dough ice cream was born, putting Ben & Jerry's on the map and into grocery freezers. It became pretty clear that we needed to build a bigger factory. Thanks to a little-known law, we were able to sell stock exclusively to Vermonters, so that 1 in 100 families here owned a little piece of Ben & Jerry's. We also set aside 7.5% of our annual profits for the Ben & Jerry's Foundation, funding small nonprofits working on social and environmental justice. Global tensions were high in the 80s, and Ben & Jerry's was fighting its own very cold war, using ice cream to protest for more government spending on peace. But the biggest surprise of the decade? The grooviest ice cream company in Vermont being named Small Business Persons of the Year by President Ronald Reagan himself. As the 80s ended, we realized that to capture our unique way of doing business, we needed to turn our values into a mission statement. 1. Make delicious ice cream. 2. Grow the company responsibly and sustainably. And 3. Change the world with ice cream as innovatively as possible. Speaking of, do you know what you get when you stand the 60s on the chair? The 90s. In the 90s, people weren't just sitting around watching The Real World on MTV. They were trying to figure out how to make the actual world better. For us, that meant looking at our ingredients and how they could affect people. from family farmers in Vermont to farmers all the way across the world. We even realized that brownies could make the world a little better if they're made in a bakery that creates jobs for those who struggle for employment. And just like in the past, we were still naming flavors after our favorite groovy bands. After launching our first flavor in the UK, we were excited to finally start bringing our chunks and swirls to fans worldwide. So forget Y2K. We couldn't wait to greet the new millennium. In the 2000s, people started connecting across the globe, and we were starting to connect them with their favorite flavors. It was at this time that Unilever, now a leader in corporate social responsibility, became interested in Ben & Jerry's. Despite the founders' best efforts to keep Ben & Jerry's independent, the company was acquired by Unilever with a unique agreement allowing us to maintain our own independent board of directors. We continue to make our ice cream available in new and exciting places and to make a truly big difference on the issues we care about most. We're talking big, like a 900-pound baked Alaskan to protest drilling in refuge wilderness, or an entire herd of Ben & Jerry's cows to raise awareness against animal cloning. Our Caring Dairy program helped farmers become more sustainable, and we campaigned for marriage equality with Hubby Hubby. Not bad for a company that started at a gas station. Oh, look at that. We're almost to the present. Time flies when you're having fun. In this age of social media, Ben & Jerry's didn't just want virtual friends. We got out and met them. We went on tour to save the Great Barrier Reef and marched to protest climate change as fans let us know that they wanted to save our world. We hung out with late-night snackers on The Tonight Show.
We told people to try the Tonight Dough from a state-of-the-art robot ice cream feeding machine. A robot with a spoon, yeah.
And made an Americone dream come true.
But he's gone now. He's gone now. Luckily, ice cream is still around. Oh, come to me, my waffle cone lover. So part of that guy will always be in here, in that my aorta now has a caramel center.
But most importantly, every flavor became officially Fair Trade certified and sourced only non-GMO ingredients. So that brings us back to the future. I bet you're wondering, can ice cream really change the world? We sure hope so. So far, it's helped us not only take better care of our planet, but also bring together people all over the world. Now, if you'll excuse our spokes gal, she's got somewhere she needs to be. Because where we're going, we don't need roads, just ice cream.
Not trying to be in there, not trying to be cool, just trying to be